YouTube where they've taken all 12 tracks and made it into a stereo mix, you know. And that's cool. It's cool that people that are into it and interested, but really, you know, the experience is meant to be through these 12 separate sound sources, you know. Even if you just I was able to get at home by myself, me and my wife were able to get like 4 going. And that was just even that alone, because, you know, you get them going, you can walk around the room, you can leave one phone in place, you can really experiment with it, you know. You know, back in the parking lot experiment days, you know, first of all, it was in car stereos with CD players. Now, the possibility for error and latency between the different CD players, you know, was a lot worse back then. And now, you know, as long as your YouTube page is loaded, it should pretty much play. I've heard people complain about that, and then other people are like, well, I don't have an iPhone, I don't have a smartphone. It's like, well, really, all you need is access to YouTube and the speakers that would play the YouTube.
You have these 12 tracks that you can go to, and you download them onto your iPhone. It's music, but it's embedded in a video.
Wayne and George Salisbury are video and internet content dude, made a bunch of video stuff. But back to the song, you know, you can listen to it, you know, all 12 things, but it's really a mess if you hear one set of speakers. Almost like when people would mix down Zyreca for a set of stereo speakers, it's too much, you know, and the stuff isn't given the space it needs to, so you can hear everything. But
and it is not meant to be the greatest thing in the world. It's meant to be a small moment that is about you making an experience happen. It's about listening, and it's about doing a thing together. It only lasts for a couple of minutes, and I can picture a lot of people at their job all going to the bathroom together like we do.
So, you know, I wanted to explain to people, especially on Twitter, I've been kind of ranting about it, you know. I appreciate people mixing it down and all that, but, you know, if you can't get all 12 going, what I've been doing, and I think this is just as much fun, is pick 3 or 4 of the tracks and play those, and there's some really fun combinations of things to do, you know, because on one of the tracks it's Wayne telling this crazy story, and what I'd like to do is I've taken, the story is on track 9. So if you get track 9 on YouTube, get that one going, and then track 8 is sort of this sad minor key acoustic guitar thing. Now, if you get Wayne's story and the acoustic guitar going, you know, just those 2 things, that combination, it's like a different song, you know what I mean?
There's a story that I tell on one of the tracks. There's 12 tracks altogether. There's a story I tell, which is a sort of collage of different stories that I've told from my childhood growing up in Oklahoma. And at the end of that, it talks about me seeing these 2 fat entities in a dark room, and I didn't know what I was seeing. I was young. I hadn't seen a lot of people having sex.
There were quite a few of these overflowing dumpsters with different discarded shit in them. And one of them, to our amazement, one of them was full of prosthetic limbs. Obviously, a prosthetic limb company was throwing out the bad limbs, the ones with some flaw in the structure or the fleshy plastic. But yeah, there they were, these feet, arms, and hands. And every day we would kind of get a little more curious about this dumpster and this place that made these fake body parts. And eventually we found ourselves wandering in through the back door sort of loading area of this little factory warehouse. Strange, dusty chemical smells, and this loud, moaning, elephant-sounding machine kind of drone. Place with a weird feel to it. There wasn't really anybody there, though.
We wandered cautiously around at first, and there was no one. There was this drippy, flesh-colored plastic sort of dripped here and there, you know. And one time, maybe the 3rd or 4th time of going in the back doors of this place, we looked through the windows of a kind of darkened foreman's type office that was in the corner there. We looked through the window,
with our hands, kind of shielding the glare. And at first, it appeared to be empty, but then as we scanned the dark room just below us on the couch, something was pumping and jiggling. And for a moment, I thought, and I don't know why I thought this, but I remember for a moment I thought, that must be the machine that is making this fleshy plastic. But no, but then I thought that's a couch, and that must be people. But it was dark, so you couldn't really tell. But it was definitely two large jiggling things were doing some unspeakable act. And I couldn't tell if it was a man and a woman. Two men or what? Just two blobs.